Hello, trainers of all types, drafters of all disciplines. I am Cossack11, and with me today, as always, is Sam.
Hey,
And not as always, but maybe as always from further on, we'll see how it goes. Adam.
it was good.
So we're recording on a weird day. This is gonna be posted. I mean, I've been posting late the past couple weeks for personal reasons. I've just had a lot going on Mondays when I usually post these, but I'm legitimately going to have to post this on a Tuesday just because I've got a lot to do today and we're recording on a Monday instead of Sunday like we normally do. Scheduling, all that jazz. I had to work during our normal podcast time. And depending on what happens, I just want to outline this at the beginning because I know people will hear it if it's at the beginning. We might be on a temporary hiatus for a couple weeks because I've got a couple events that are going on. I'll be out of town for the next 2 weekends. I actually got to talk to Emerson because I know he's got recording equipment. So I'll like basically what I'm thinking is I'll give him the information to post this like to the YouTube channel for this,
Gotcha.
and I'll have him run it. Depending
Hmm.
on, I got to see what his availability is like first, though. So that's something I'm going to talk to him about.
Yeah, because we have Clutch who is still dodging forest fires, or at least we can still joke about him dodging forest fires. And then we have Emerson who's off on a cruise right now
Yeah,
and swamped with classes and everything.
yeah,
So, yeah, we'll see how things turn out.
yeah. Depending on,
But,
I might also talk to Mike or not Mike, Pack, and we'll see. I don't know if Pack has recording equipment, but he might. And he's expressed interest in returning to the podcast, so for a
mhm,
couple more episodes. So
yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
I say Andrew streams as well.
Oh, you
So,
know what? Yes, he does. So maybe we'll talk to him.
so
We'll see.
yeah,
We've got options
he's
available to keep the content
he,
going.
Andrew is, of course, one of our regular and wonderful listeners who
Yes.
comments with support and is
Yes.
always listening. Shout out, Andrew.
Um, he's also in the RDL. Uh,
Yep.
and Adam is also in the RDL. Adam was actually one of the original 8 in the RDL, along with
Yeah,
me.
the
Season,
abandoned season.
yeah, season 1 alumnus right here. So, we got a pretty good series of topics. Also, I should also note we're recording this in the morning, several hours
Yep.
before I usually wake up. So, if I sound tired, it's because I am. And that little beeping noise you heard in the background was my coffee maker finishing up. But we'll get to that in a second. First, let's talk about our topic today. We're continuing our Team Archetype series because I think it's a good series, and also like I'm stretching these topics as far as I can go. But we're going to be talking about sand teams today. Now, I thought about just talking about weather teams as a like singular topic in and of itself, but I think that um, first of all, of the weather types, only two of them are really viable for building a whole team around, and the other two are good if you have a core that utilizes them, but they're not so good if you build a whole team around them. And so we're starting with the first one that's good to have a team built around, and that is sand. Now, the other thing I'd like to point out is that there is a difference between having a sand team and a sand core. Have If you have a sand core, that means you have like 2 or 3 Pokemon that work very effectively. Probably one sand setter and something else like if you have T-Tar and Excadrill, that's a sand core. That's not a sand team. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Having a pocket sand core can be really helpful. It gives you flexibility in your team building options. It gives you flexibility in other ways. Because if your team isn't all in on sand, or whatever weather you're doing, but if it isn't all in on that, that will allow you flexibility. It'll give you advantages. Uh, but a sand team is going to basically, I mean, now that also doesn't mean that a sand team, at least from my point of view here, a sand team isn't going to be 100% like steel, rock, and ground types. You're going to have mons that are still probably going to get hit by the sand but don't care as much, or mons that uh, maybe they don't necessarily get direct benefit from the sand, but the sand is hurting their checks. It's keeping things that normally would hurt them off of the field, or at least making them more hesitant to switch them in. And so you're talking mons like Celebi is a good example, because if you're running a sand team, that means you probably have a sand setter. Well, I would hope you'd have a sand setter, which is usually something with sand stream. And let's talk about the main pieces of a sand team before we go any farther here. The main pieces of a sand team, you're going to have your setter, which I just mentioned. And then you're going to have maybe at least one or two mons that directly benefit. They're going to have abilities like Sand Rush or
Sand Force.
Or Sand Force, yes. Something like that. So Excadrill, Lycanroc. I think any of the Lycanrocs benefit from sand.
I think it's just day.
Oh, no, you're right. It's Midday. Midday is the only one that actually has... Because that's the one with Sand Force. Because the other one is... I mean, that's not to say that they don't like having... The other two don't like having sand up. They certainly do, because they get their rock type. They get that special defense boost.
Yeah.
Which
Every
is
rock
important
type's
to
gonna
note.
benefit from
Basically, rock types in general are going to get direct benefit. Like Mega Aerodactyl enjoys being in the sand for that same reason.
Same with Tyranitar, same with Gigalith. I mean, Andrew has had a team that's benefited from Gigalith being in the sand a couple times this season.
Yep. Speaking of Gigalith, that's actually one of our sand setters. It's a budget sand setter because it has sand stream, but it's lower tier. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That can be like just getting sand up is really useful, and having a consistent sand setter even at a low tier is still a pretty good pick if you're looking for... Usually, if you're picking Gigalith for a setter, though, you're usually using it as more of a sand core, not a sand team. You don't want to build a sand team around Gigalith, I don't think.
I mean, it has advantages because it's a mono rock type, right?
That's
mono
true.
types have you avoid some of the nasty quads that you can run into.
Yeah, but I mean, look at your
mons.
other two options though. I mean, yeah, Tyranitar's got some it's got a nasty quad weakness in fighting, but Hippowdon doesn't have that problem either. Hippowdon, I think, has better resistances than Gigalith does.
Oh yeah.
No, it's just more of Gigalith is like the budget one where you can grab it and you can still make a good team around other things.
Yeah, I mean, usually if you're picking I guess you have to really plan to pick Gigalith as your sand setter. Like you better be getting some good tier ones for support for that. Is all I'm saying. Like if you're sacrificing, a high tier slot.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's something, especially in the case that somebody else has already taken your sand setters that you were targeting, and say you pick Excadrill in the first or second round.
That's definitely
at least there's Gigalith there. I mean, you could pick Hippopotamus or whatever the.
That's true. I forgot Hippopotamus can do that.
Yeah,
you have to be really at that.
I mean, that is actually an interesting thought. And Hippopotamus does see play in ladder. But that's because the lowest tier of Smogon laddering is weird. I'm not even going to get into it. I've seen just some of the weirdest shit in there. I can't even. Anyway, but yeah, so you have a few valid options for setters. To be fair, depending on what you're planning on doing with your sand setter, like how many times you plan on getting sand off, because that's something important to consider, is how many times you plan on getting your sand force or your sand stream to go off. You're gonna be fine with just Hippopotamus, depending on if you only want to get it off one or two times, just slap a focus sash on that sucker and lead with it. Bam, sand stream trigger, switch to whatever you have with Sand Force or Sand Rush.
Yeah. I think that the issue, of course, with Hippopotamus and the reason it's going to stay at tier 5 and everything is because it would love to be able to run Eviolite and take advantage of the bulk that it gets from that. But it also, you mentioned running like Focus Sash. It would also enjoy being able to run, what's the sand extending?
I don't remember. It's like Soft Clay or something like that.
Smooth Rock?
Smooth Rock, I think.
Smooth Rock.
Yeah. Right, because they're all rocks. Yeah.
Don't sleep on Hippopotas though, because I watched him replay yesterday from another league. It walled a Mega Gallade.
That's impressive.
Because it was Eviolighted, and Mega Gallade's Ice Punch did like 35%.
That's impressive. So yeah, there you go, Hippopotas. That'll be our next mon of the week.
I don't want to talk about Hippopotas for 10 minutes.
I mean, I don't know if it would last that long because it's like put Eviolite on it or Focus Sash or Smooth Rock. Congrats, that's what you do. But no, but yeah, that is something to consider, especially if like you said, if your other types get sniped, then because usually you're shooting for T-Tar or Hippowdon depending on what you want your team doing.
Yeah.
Or Mega T-Tar.
Or Mega T-Tar, right. Well, I mean, I just kind of lumped Mega T-Tar in with T-Tar. Because Mega T-Tar is kind of just T-Tar plus. Kind of.
Yeah,
I mean,
kind of.
It does lack a little bit of flexibility because of the fact that it's locked into one ability, and it doesn't... Like, in our league, at least, you're forced to Mega Evolve turn 1, which I'm completely in favor of, by the way.
Yeah. See, the other thing to mention with Mega T-Tar is the flexibility you lose in forcing it to hold the Mega.
I think that's the bigger thing with the flexibility is.
Oh yeah, you lose your ability to scarf it, to band it, to throw the Smooth Rock on it.
But then you gain the enormous stats of Mega T-Tar.
That's fair.
So it's a bit of a trade-off.
How am I supposed to run my Specs T-Tar though?
Well, I mean
that's the 95 special.
The stat to item trade-off is something you get with every Mega.
Yeah, for sure. I'm interested as well because we can talk about like there are sand abusers. Everyone knows that Excadrill is a sand abuser.
Yep,
Landorus,
he's the major one.
Incarnate.
Yep, Landorus Incarnate is a big one. It should be noted that I think one of the primary reasons, not the primary reason, but one of the reasons that Excadrill is usually tier 1 is because it's an excellent sand abuser.
Yeah, and it's just an excellent Pokemon in general. It's got a decent speed. It's got a decent speed tier in and of itself. It's a great rapid spinner, and Steel Stab, of course, is now even more important since Gen 6 because of fairies running around.
Yep.
Just ground steel is a solid dual typing. There's no quads in that.
Yep.
Yeah. There's just a lot of things you can say about Excadrill. I mean, there's a reason. I remember when Gen 5 came out, everyone was talking about that mon, and there's a reason it got banned.
The only problem I have with Excadrill is despite its ground typing, it's still weak to fire.
Yeah, I mean, ground doesn't resist fire anyway, but...
I thought it did, but maybe I this is one of those things where it's Cossack doesn't know what types resist.
It doesn't resist, unfortunately.
That's silly.
Yeah, fire is neutral against, like, say, Hippowdon. It's rock that resists flying and fire.
That's so weird.
Well, like, the major pull of a mon like Excadrill is it can function outside of the sand core. Like, you'll see Rainmons or Hailmons that aren't that good outside of the...
I think Hail is more of a, like, you're building a core. I think building a Hail team is not a good idea, mainly because of the sheer amount of ice types required to make a Hail team means that you're going to get destroyed.
Yeah,
unless your opponent chokes and doesn't click Flare Blitz.
Just press Conch Elder and click Mach Punch 6 times.
Yep.
I mean,
Conch Elder or Lycanroc Dusk.
Yeah, anything with priority that's strong against ice is gonna just walk all over your Hail team. Now, having a Hail core isn't a bad idea. If you get, like, I think a decent, I think a semi-decent balanced core in draft is actually Beartic and Alolan Ninetales.
See, I like to go with the Alolan Sand / over Beartic, but that's just personal preference and liking steel typing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just Alolan Sandslash is just cool.
Yeah, well, and I think both are good for different reasons. I think
maybe.
And like you said, it's a personal preference thing, definitely.
But also, we should talk about regular Sandslash as being a really good sand abuser, especially for a tier 5.
Yep, for tier 5, he's a good sand abuser. He's got rapid spin, which is pretty relevant in a lot of cases. Because you're usually in a sand team, you've got something that can set rocks, so you should probably be setting rocks. And so if you can remove your opponent's hazards without having to remove your own with a defogger, that gives you a lot of added utility. And depending on what you've got on your team, like if you got T-Tar as your setter, they're gonna have a hard time putting ghosts in to spin block you, because that T-Tar in the back pocket, they know if they put that ghost into spin block, the T-Tar is coming out and it's gonna be pack in pursuit. That's what I would do anyway. You have to be aware that if you put a ghost type out there, you risk it being pursuit trapped by T-Tar, right? Like, now, if you have Hippowdon, that is a little bit different, but Hippowdon's its own set of problems usually.
Hippowdon's just the fact that it won't die.
Yeah, it won't die, and it can keep setting rocks over and over again. So you can go ahead, keep spin blocking us. We'll just defog and set rocks instead.
And just whirlwind you around, just whittle you down to the point where an extra
just keeps you. He sets his rocks and then just phases you into the rocks multiple times.
Hippowdon in the right hands is it's a beast of a mon, just because it keeps people rotating. You have to come in with a strategy to beat Hippowdon down.
I was going to build a Hippowdon stall sand team for season 2. That was a draft list I put together, and I actually saw the opening to take it, but I also saw the opening for my OU ladder stall team. I kind of wish I'd gone with the sand team, because I could have probably had a better record. But
Excadrill was available at the beginning of the season. Even.
It was, I know. I could have done it. All I needed to do was grab Hippowdon. I don't think anyone had Hippowdon at the beginning of the season either.
No. Does anyone have Hippowdon now?
No.
Hippowdon and Excadrill are both free.
Wow.
I mean, technically not, because the free agent trades are the deadline for that is long past, and it's we're in postseason now, so technically it's not available.
Fair enough.
Or if you look at it the other way, technically everything is available because the draft is sometime in the future. Don't necessarily know if it's a near future even. We don't have a date yet, but that's because we're still in postseason.
Yeah.
But
so another sand abuser, I think people bring up Stoutland. It kind of gets overlooked sometimes.
It gets overlooked, but it really shouldn't. He's good for a couple reasons. First of all, he's a sand abuser. And second of all, he's normal type, which means you can bring him in. He's another mon you can use. I think does Stoutland learn pursuit? Because that's something else you can bring in.
It does.
Yes,
yeah.
It does.
So you can use it to pursuit trap again, and it's even better because the ghost can't hit it probably unless it's using whatever its secondary typing is. So
or you can just run that Scrappy Stoutland.
Stoutland. I mean, yeah, that's another way to pry off the spin blockers for your Sandslash. Your tier 5 sand core.
Yeah, I mean, if you're running a sand team, I mean, that's kind of a cool option in the sense that you can have 2 tier 5s that really and not only that, but I think Sandslash and Stoutland should be talked about outside of the fact that they're function in the sand core.
Right. I think
because the thing is, Stoutland is actually kind of a respectable mon. It's got Scrappy, it's got Sand Rush, and it has its third ability is Intimidate, which is an amazing ability.
Yeah, it's got a lot of flexibility in what sets you can run with it, and it functions on a lot of different teams.
Yeah,
it's
decent
one of those
speed tier too.
Yeah, decent speed tier, decent out of the box stopping power.
Base 110 attack. Yeah, it's a good tier 5. Throw a choice band on that thing and just click return. And
I think that's something you'll find with weather teams in general. And weather cores in general, is that weather is a very good force multiplier. Weather will make your tier 5s perform like tier 3s and make your tier 3s perform like tier 1s if you do it right. If you've got the right abusers, your abusers suddenly get way better because of the weather. So that's the reason usually you're making a weather team. Is because that's the idea. the weather itself is going to be boosting your team.
Mm-hmm. What are some outright rock or ground or steel types, or even like sand rush or sand force users? Celebi we mentioned.
Yeah. Another one, I would say Mega Venusaur is actually another good option for this team. Because
the only problem would be Synthesis isn't as good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Synthesis isn't as good, but it's big enough that it'll check a lot of the water types that are going to be your major problems. You know what actually is another mon? It's steel type, but it would be really good on this team is Kartana. Right? Like Kartana and sand is actually not a bad thing. It doesn't directly benefit other than the fact that it's steel type, so it's not getting that dot.
Yeah.
But
actually, there are 3 mons that directly benefit in Clefable, Alakazam, and Reuniclus with Magic Guard.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And they stop the fighting types that would normally pound.
Right, your rock types and your T-Tars. Yeah, exact. Yeah, you're right. No, you got it. That's anything with Magic Guard. Well, not anything with Magic Guard, but a lot of the things with Magic Guard.
I think another one that deserves mention in the same breath as things like Clefable for sand teams is Mandibuzz. It's got the overcoat to prevent the residual damage, and also it's just a good bulk mon. Like you could run that thing with Hippowdon, and Hippowdon's going to come in and take like Stealth Rock, or sorry, not Stealth Rock, Stone Edges that were intended for Mandibuzz,
and just laugh at them because it's Hippowdon.
Oh yeah,
and those electric type hits too.
Yeah,
that too. Yeah,
and Mandibuzz can deal with fighting types because of its flying typing. It's
neutral hits.
And the fact that Foul Play just messes up so many mons.
Oh yeah, Foul Play is pretty sweet. I ran it a few times on my Mega Sableye. It can be devastating.
Yeah, you're talking about a good defog user. It gets taunt, it gets U-turn, reliable recovery with Roost. You can run knockoff on it if you want.
Yeah.
Mandibuzz is tier 2 for a reason. It's good.
Another mon I think maybe doesn't directly benefit, but is certainly useful to have. Azelf is pretty decent. Uxie is pretty decent. You know.
It misses the ability to run Focus Sash as I mean it can still run a Suicide Lead type thing.
That's
because
true.
Sand won't be set at the time, but
actually, speaking of hazard setters in sand, you know what's a good sand hazard setter? Shuckle.
Oh no, not this.
Yeah, man. Shuckle, because it gets that special defense boost. Because it's rock type.
Sticky web.
Set them webs. You can get it, and depending on how many physical attackers they got, you'll probably get the rocks up too.
Yeah, and also depending on whether or not the opponent has a Mega Diancie that they led with.
Oh, shut up. That was a mistake. That was a
Nadia tried to set rocks on me too, dude.
Oh wow.
It was. I'm
glad I'm not the only
back-to-back games in RDL that somebody tried to set hazards on my Diancie as it Mega Evolved.
Yeah. I don't know why I forgot that. Maybe because I was holding on to Mega Sableye and was just like, I have Mega Sableye. I have the only magic bouncer.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also run that Shuckle in the sand where you just click Contrary Shell Smash and Power Trick. And suddenly you have like base 600 attack stat.
I mean, yeah, that's something. I think the silliest set I came up with was Infestation, Power Split, and Stone Edge. So what you did is you used Infestation to lock a mon down because it's trapped as long as that Infestation is going. So for I think it's 2 to 5 turns or something like that. Then you Power Split. You do this on a physical attacker and you Power Split. And so you get all half of their attack and they get basically nothing. Their attack goes down to 0. And then you just Stone Edge. Huh?
Does it work if they're boosting and they Swords Dance and then you Power Trick them?
Well, no, I don't know about. Well, I don't know about Power Trick. I know Power Split only works on base attack.
Yeah.
Power Split.
Yeah, Power Split only works on base attack. I don't know about how Power Trick works.
Didn't you bring that like game 1 this season against Pac?
Yes, I did. And it almost worked too.
It almost worked.
He got the Swords Dance off a little quicker than I was hoping.
Yeah, because he brought in
Mega
Mega Charizard.
I actually forced that Mega Charizard out because of the halved power though. Because its power, because I actually did the calcs. Its power was only like its attack was only like 106.
Oh,
yeah,
poor thing.
Yeah, that's what happens when something with 2 attack power splits with something with like 200 attack. It's funny.
Mm.
It was kind of a comedy set, I'll admit. But digressions aside, I mean, there's some bulky grass, like Tangrowth probably does fine in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And it checks water types, which are going to be a problem for you.
Mostly because you're using that regenerator instead of synthesis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, regenerator is actually really good to have for non-sand abusers that don't resist. Like Slowbro, I would say, is also a good pick.
Yeah, things that can take fighting hits are never a bad thing for a full sand team.
Could you imagine a sand team? Like you get Gigalith as your sand setter, and then you go like Slowbro, Tangrowth Regenerator Core.
That's kind of mean.
With like Excadrill and maybe Mega Garchomp. Like that's a pretty brutal team right there.
Does Mega Garchomp get something that abuses sand?
No, but it I don't know if it. Well, actually, I don't know if it does or not. I've never really looked at Mega Garchomp. I'll admit.
It gets Sand Force.
Well, there you go.
There you go. That's what I was thinking. I was wondering about that.
So yeah, so it's already pretty astronomical. Stopping power gets boosted even more.
If you want your opponents to hate you, just run regular Garchomp with Sand Veil.
Except that's not allowed in our league because accuracy reducing anything.
Anything, huh?
I think. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure. Whoever was running a Alolan Ninetales would have, or Storm would have tried running Snow Veil or something. At least a couple times.
Well, but you run into the problem of like if it's running Snow Cloak, then it's not running Snow Warning.
That's true. I think that anything that reduces accuracy is straight up banned in our league.
Huh.
Yeah, I think so too.
I believe that's the exact wording on the document.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't see the rules document anymore though. I don't know what happened to it.
I think it got pulled because
we have to go over rule changes, right? That's something that's way off after the postseason though. Because there's going to be a coaches meeting for that.
So, do you guys, let's see here. I think maybe as a last note, do we have any more ones that I think that Steel Psychic types like Bronzong, Jirachi, Metagross to an extent also, or like, and once again, the neutral fighting thing is kind of coupled with the lack of residual damage.
I think
Jirachi just does.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I think Jirachi is another kind of Swiss Army knife mon in the sense that you put it on most teams and it does make them better.
Yeah.
Like, it functions in a lot of weather. I mean, with the exception probably of sunny day. It doesn't really care for that.
It doesn't really, and even then, though, the sunny day isn't actively hindering it in any way, shape, or form. To be fair, though, sunny day doesn't really actively hinder anything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't appreciate the fact that fire moves are hitting it a little bit harder.
Yeah, that's
the one thing.
Yeah, that's the big...
And that's why Jirachi appreciates rain is because it makes it, like especially the
it mitigates the weaknesses.
Kind of laugh at.
Well, and that's what you're looking for with weather teams. You're looking for things. You're looking for something to set with. You're looking for things that abuse the sand, and then you're looking for kind of utility and backup mons that benefit, maybe not directly, but certainly indirectly from the weather. So certain move types are weakened, and we'll be talking more about this when we talk about rain teams next week. I wanted to separate the two because I do think that rain has different nuances with it than sand.
Very much so.
Mainly because sand has a dot component where rain does not. And that is actually a pretty big factor in choosing one or the other.
Yeah, sand isn't making your hurricanes and thunders 100% accurate.
Exactly.
It's not boosting your water type moves by, half again.
Right. But by that same token, it's doing steady dot the entire time it's active to anything that isn't steel, rock, or ground type. It's boosting your rock type special defense by 1.5.
That's correct.
So there's trade-offs to be had there, and I think we'll go more over those trade-offs between the two when we talk about rain next week. Now, neatly segueing, don't laugh, into our next topic. We're actually into our RDL topic now, which is playoffs. They've started, and we have we've had some great matches this week. Even the match that was a shutout was a good match.
It was only a shutout because of a showdown crash mistake.
Ooh, are we talking about different matches?
I think we're talking about different matches.
You mean the Azumarill fun?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was also a shutdown.
Yeah.
Oh, you were talking about... Okay.
Yeah.
So Santoro versus Ballistic.
Yeah, let's talk about that match. Now, to be fair, I think Ballistic planned for everything except sticky webs.
Slurpuff MVP, period.
Yeah.
I hate that cupcake with a deep passion.
Oh, gee, I wonder why.
Looks at
that belly drum though.
Yeah, looks at move list, sees belly drum, rage intensifies. No, but I saw that Slurpuff and I'm like, oh, he's got some crafty bullshit. I know it. And then I was right. I was like, oh no.
That was beautiful.
Well, and he didn't have anything to get rid of hazards.
He never does.
Exactly.
That's super hyper offense.
That's what Santoro planned for. That's the thing. You have to be careful when you're facing Santoro. I think one of the best ways to prep for Santoro is not to watch Santoro's matches, but to go back and watch your own matches and see what patterns you're falling into. Because that's what Santoro is doing. That is how he plans for you. And that is how he will take you by surprise with Slurpuff with Focus Sash and Sticky Webs.
Go ahead.
And then he endeavors it, the Jirachi.
Yeah.
Oh,
he was getting sticky webs no matter what because he was going to get that unburden boost to outspeed. But the fact that he didn't get flinched to that first turn, got sticky webs, and then endeavored the Jirachi.
That was icing on the cake.
Oh my gosh.
That was
icing on the cupcake?
Hey.
Boo this man.
Had to.
Yeah, fair. I mean, we set it up for you. But yeah, no, that was...
Slurpuff.
Oh, that's Slurpuff.
In case anyone forgot, Slurpuff had 3 kills against Cossack in week 4.
Yeah, that belly drum, man. And it was basically what had happened to me every single week for 3 or 4 weeks in a row, where as soon as the Clefable went down, the setup sweepers just came crawling out of the woodwork like fucking spiders.
Oh, it's fun. So, yeah, I think that was a fun match in the sense that, Santoro definitely did something that was unexpected. He mentions in his commentary that he brought Sticky Web in hopes that Ballistic wouldn't bring hazard removal, not just because Ballistic doesn't always bring hazard removal, but also because Santoro hasn't really brought hazards this season.
Right.
His use of Stealth Rock has been really limited. His use of Sticky Webs has been basically non-existent.
Exactly.
And he caught him with that Necrozma too, because he's been bringing defensive Necrozma all season. So when he brought the dual setup Necrozma, there was no prep for it. He just ran through at the end.
Oh yeah. Well, that was the coffin. That was the final nail in the coffin. There was that Necrozma.
He's brought rock polish Necrozma a couple times. He brought it against me. That's part of the reason why I've kind of taken notice.
Ew, that thing gets rock polish.
Yeah, it does.
What?
Yeah.
What is this
Metagross.
mon?
But Metagross doesn't get atomized.
Yeah, that's the worst. It makes me so mad.
That is upsetting. You would
But
think it would too. Like
I
if
wanted
anything would.
I wanted Metagross to get shift gear, but that would have been broken.
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
Anyways, yeah, that match was crazy. I don't think he's brought dual setup Necrozma. I came this close to getting swept by him last time. Like I had him what I thought was on ropes, and then he broke out the rock polish Necrozma.
That's what happened with me.
KO'd my Gyarados with a charge beam. If he had gotten a boost from that, and if he had teched to outspeed my Scarf Haxorus, then it would have been game.
That's what happened with me in that stupid Slurpuff. Like I thought I had him on the ropes. Slurpuff was his only mon left, and then he just, or no, he had Slurpuff and like a really badly wounded other mon that was like a one-shot kill, and he just is like, oh, by the way, belly drum, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, that wasn't either of ours. Ours were just wall, try to break through, don't break through, annoyance.
Well, he had like it was belly drum citrus berry, so he used the unburden boost to get faster than my entire team. On top of just getting belly drum, and I'm just like holding my head in my hands, crying.
Yeah,
me when I faced the fetus mon.
The powerhouse of the cell.
We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, let's move on.
Anyway.
So, should we talk about the other games then?
Yes,
we could just go to the
naturally.
Sun Conference.
Yeah.
So New York and Detroit next.
Sure.
Because honestly, that was well played, and the Gyarados setup early was beautiful.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
I'm always happy when I win a match but learn something from it. And this was a case of just me remembering how bulky Mega Pinsir was, especially physically bulky. Holy cow.
Yeah, that thing tanked a lot of hits from that double boosted.
Yeah. It's so I guess I want to talk about that real quick because I want to explain my thought process a little bit as to why I didn't click bounce. Because I had bounce and I could have bounced on this Mega Pinsir. But when he fielded his team, like when I got to team preview, I saw that he didn't have Lantern. And my game plan this whole time, I think I explained this to Adam. I think I sent you my team, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because what I had the Firewater Grass Core in Gyarados, Bulu, and Heatran. And the idea was that those three were going to run the field for the first 15, 20 turns, for the kind of early and mid game. The idea was just to keep those around, have them inflict residual damage, try and get rocks up with Heatran. Gyarados can look for like an early setup opportunity to kind of take a mon or two. The idea was to just wear him down. And then after that, I had Mega Diancie, I had Lycanroc, and I had Grassy Seed Unburden Hitmonlee. And the idea was that I just had three fast, hard-hitting physical sweepers to follow those up. And if I made it to turn 20 and had kind of worn down his team, there was just no chance he was going to survive 2 or 3 of those. That was my game plan. And Gyarados, I kind of had a little caveat with that if Lantern didn't come, Gyarados was free to wreak havoc. Because, Sub-Dragon Dance, it was a bulky set. I just figured, I was like, if he doesn't have Lantern, which stops this thing dead in its tracks, I could just go for it. And when I led with Gyarados because I was just looking at his team and thinking, like, there's a lot of physical stuff here. I'd like to get an Intimidate off first round. I don't really see anything else that I'd love to lead with. And then he led with Scarf Staraptor. You turned on the first turn as I went for
Bounce.
Substitute, I want to say.
Oh, no.
It was Sub, then D-Dance,
Yeah. And he went out into Aromatisse, and I think I started just building up. No, he went to Swampert. That's what it was, and set rocks as I started Dragon Dancing on him.
Yeah.
And
I'm just counting the Dragon Dances when I'm watching this.
We got to turn 5. He switched in his Aromatisse, and he had already said GG. Like, he was just like, this is done. Good game.
And honestly, it could have been from there.
It could have. I agree. There's a couple things that ruined. Like, he really actually pulled things off pretty well.
He had some great reads.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, because what happened was that Celesteela set, I brought Gyarados because it could set up on Celesteela. That was the entire purpose, was that Celesteela doesn't have a whole lot that can break Gyarados subs. Like Heavy Slam doesn't do it without investment. And, turns out that he was max, that was a weakness policy Celesteela with max attack and like positive nature and everything. Like,
yeah.
And it had Seed Bomb, presumably for Rotom Wash. Like,
I mean, that's definitely.
So it was. So he was able to break my subs consistently. Heavy Slam, which he used the first turn, was a roll to break the sub, but it did. And I subbed on him again because I thought if he went for Heavy Slam once, he'd go for it again. Maybe I'll get lucky with the roll.
And then he Seed Bombed.
Which Seed Bomb always broke the subs. My calcs were right. And then I was just like, all right, I have to go for this. He's like, and so. Once the Mega Pinsir comes out, my Gyarados was at like half health or something. And he's like, once again, he said GG. I go for the Waterfall as he goes for the Quick Attack. It does a little bit over half of what I have remaining. Waterfall doesn't kill. And both of us just kind of go, oh.
Yeah.
And the most important thing, I mean, honestly, at that point, the fact that I had Celesteela and Aromatisse out of the way, even when the game got evened out to 4-4 after that, because he was able to KO my Gyarados with another Quick Attack. And yeah, I could have bounced. I should have bounced. I probably should have just, once that Heavy Slam from Celesteela broke my sub, I probably should have just started attacking it rather than trying to sub again.
Yeah.
But it's a live and learn thing because I'm lucky that I still pulled it off.
I still think Moxie would have been better, but that's just me.
Yeah, the reason I brought Intimidate was because I wanted something that was bulky and that could kind of like switch in on, say, like non-banded Staraptor to like take the hit reasonably.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, the Intimidate made sense.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like with the team that he brought, if you had Moxie, it would have been a 6-0.
Oh yeah, and I think that's one thing that's
I mean, that's hindsight is 2020 thing. I think.
Exactly.
I think in prep it's always easier to bring in. Like it's really hard for me to bring Intimidate in match. It's really hard for me to bring Moxie in matches because
it's contingent upon you knocking things out.
And Intimidate is one of those things. It's
a consistent performing ability
until somebody fields a full team of special attackers against you.
I mean, I almost did that.
I didn't bring Gyarados against you though.
No, you did not. Probably for that very reason.
Maybe.
Well,
I think I did it because it,
Well, maybe because that and Scarf Latios could.
Yeah. Thunderbolt.
Oko it with Thunderbolt.
So that match was good because then after, like, I thought he had kind of given up at that point, but once he realized he had an avenue to win, he went
hard for that avenue to win.
Yeah, because he pulled the double switch on the back into Pinsir because the next couple moves were like he killed my Gyarados with Quick Attack. I sent out Lycanroc.
Like
if he went to Swampert as I clicked the Accelerock, and then as I went to Bulu, which was an obvious switch, he went back to Mega Pinsir, and then he went for the Earthquake as I took out my Tapu Bulu and put in my Heatran, and then all of a sudden, after Earthquake,
which was a brilliant read.
Oh yeah, I took the Earthquake because I had Shukaberry and Grassy Terrain was up, but after that there was no surviving it. But he went for the close combat anyway. Like there was just it was a brilliant sequence of events for him, the way he played it.
That series of plays, I thought he was going to turn it around.
Yeah,
watching the replay.
Well, the thing is, if you hadn't told me that he thought. Like if he had told you GG, if anyone else had said that, like anyone who hadn't faced him but was like there or something, like if it was in Showdown and someone watching it said that, I wouldn't have believed him because he saw the line and went for it. Yeah.
And I think that to me at that point, because I had Mega Diancie in the back, I was still sitting pretty confident because
the Mega Diancie defense boost was big.
Yeah,
it was huge. I mean, it was the reason I survived the Steel Wing.
Yep.
Like that was the thing, was that I was sitting there and I knew the Steel Wing was coming, and I was just like, he'd send this thing in if it was Scarf. He's not bluffing at this point. That thing is like, there were two things on his roster that could be Scarf. It was Nihilego or it was Staraptor. based on the way he was playing it. I figured the Steel Wing was coming, and I didn't even calc it. I was just like, I think I can live this after that defensive boost. And
sometimes you just got to do that.
I'm not sure that it mattered. I mean, the other thing was that, like, I was looking at my options at that point, and because I still had Hitmonlee in the back, I didn't want to switch in Hitmonlee on the off chance that he
went for Brave Bird
or something. Yeah, which I didn't think he would do, but I just
you never
wasn't,
know. Yeah,
I wasn't.
You can't
I didn't
be sure enough.
I still had. I looked at it and I still felt like I had the tools to beat him outside of like losing DNC, Right. And if he wanted to lock himself into Steel Wing, I was fine with that. And that was the thing, was that I started to sweat bullets especially once he took out the Heatran and made all those good plays and everything. But because I had Lycanroc and DNC in the back, and especially once Grassy Terrain was up, where DNC was an option against his whole team, because I was packing the Nature Power for Swampert, I felt pretty good. So
double Nature Power was nice.
Yeah. I'm sad that I didn't get to break it out with Heatran.
We actually realized that Whimsicott, as a brief aside, Whimsicott gets priority Nature Power.
Yep.
But then you're rocking double quad weakness to poison on your team.
Yeah, but if you got good ground types or a couple of good psychic types, like if you have Jirachi on your team, that's fine. Like if you have Jirachi and like,
oh, my Olomuck is still swallowing that though.
Fair enough.
Fair, but like priority Nature Powers still,
that is nice.
Like
it's a nice counter to it too, where if someone has blue and you don't have an answer, bring Whimsicott and reverse sweep him.
Oh yeah, that's definitely an option. Oh wow, that's ugh.
With hidden power poison, nature power.
I'll be looking, depending on what happens in the draft, I'll be looking at Whimsicott for maybe that exact reason.
One of the things that Excessive actually said in our post game after everything had played out was that he thought that his mistake this season was not swapping Decidueye for Whimsicott mid-season.
Yeah, that actually probably would have been a pretty good decision.
I thought it was an interesting comment for sure.
It would have. I mean,
it would have made his team a little strange, just because then he's doubling up on. He'd have what, 2 fairies, 2 grass, even though he already had 2 grass.
Well, I think because I don't know. Does Whimsicott get defog?
It does.
Okay.
But at the same time,
I mean, it does get priority defog, which is useful.
I think Decidueye on his team forced different prep, at least in my mind.
Yeah, well, because
Whimsicott would have.
Because Decidueye can trap with Spirit Shackle.
And then just set up.
Right.
Trap in something I can't touch it, set up, and go, ha.
Right. Ideally what you do is you trap Swampert or like Quagsire or something like that, and then just set up on it.
Yeah, ideally.
In a perfect world.
Is there anything more we want to say about this game?
I think it was probably one of the most entertaining to watch out of the 4, considering 2 of them were sweeps.
I would put ours maybe at second.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that the showdown match was interesting, and there's some nuances to that I want to talk about.
Well, then let's talk about it.
Sweet. I guess I can talk in Clutch's absence a little bit, because
this is actually convenient. This is actually very convenient because both of the people involved, well, kind of inconvenient actually, because both the people involved in this battle are normal hosts on this show, and also not here.
Yeah.
So, it was a good battle, but once that Azumarill got the Z belly drum off, I was like, I saw it coming a mile away too. Like,
losing the red card on Miss Magius was huge.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have activated if Miss Magius got O code, right?
No, it would. As soon as you touch it, you're sent out.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, that's my red card. I think I ran that against Clutch. Or no, I didn't. I should have.
I should have too. Why did I not run red card again? Well, I didn't face Clutch. Did I face Clutch this season? I don't think I faced him this season. Maybe I did. It would have been one of the
Let's see.
It would have been one of the cross conference matches.
No, see, this is the thing. I'm just looking at the Bulbapedia article. If the holder is hit by a damaging move and does not faint, it consumes the red card.
Okay.
Pokemon.
Well, there you
So
go.
That'd be interesting.
So that's an
you need to
interesting-
put it on a mon with sturdy.
yeah, that's if you want the guaranteed red card, you need something with sturdy or endure or something.
Yeah. So Shuckle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was I gonna say off of that? So yeah, because Clutch, I remember Clutch came to me after the match and was just like, "I was so lucky," and then he was like, "Wait, I just looked it up. I actually was just fine."
Yeah, no, he was actually fine then.
Yeah.
Red card hurts differently than I thought it did.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I don't think that's why Uxie is such a good red card user, is because it's really just difficult to KO that thing,
Yeah.
even with like a single boost.
At +6, I think you're all right though.
Yeah, probably. See, okay, here's the thing I want to bring up, and I imagine Clutch would talk about this if he were here, but he did something that I think was really clever that I think would go under the radar for most people. Clutch, in prepping for Emerson, every time he's prepped in recent history, has been sweating bullets about Mega Venusaur because it's just a good stop to a lot of his mons. Like, stops Terrakion dead, stops it stops Azu in theory, because it could outspeed Azu if it was invested. Like, in theory, it was possible to give to tech to invest, or it was possible to tech Venusaur to beat Azumarill, because Aqua Jet is not going to kill Mega Venusaur, and Giga Drain from Mega Venusaur is going to, wipe out Azu, especially after a Belly Drum.
Yep.
So what Clutch did in prepping was he set his Nidoqueen to be, I think, 1 point of speed. Was it 1 point of speed below Azumarill, or did he invest it to be exactly the same speed as Azu?
I think he did it 1 below so he could see if Venusaur would have enough speed to outspeed his Azu.
Yeah.
He might have put it even with Azu, because either way you would know if Venusaur was faster.
Yeah, but yeah, he teched that thing such that it would be this kind of his speed test. So if Nidoqueen came in on Mega Venusaur and outsped, then he was good to bring in the Azu, for the Z Belly Drum, and then quick return. Yeah.
He totally missed the chance to call his Nidoqueen speed test by Ookla. Just saying. I mean, that's really long. I don't know if he'd have enough space.
Oh, no.
But Ookla, just call it Ookla. I would get the reference. Despite the fact that that's one of the worst speed testers on the internet.
I would say I'll giggle, but yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it used to be the speed tester, but then all the ISPs put it as a priority data transfer now. So you always look like you're getting faster speeds than you actually are.
Gotcha. So, yeah, I think it was kind of a shame that this match, Clutch and Emerson are both in spots where I think they needed to use Showdown. It is what it is. That's not the worst thing in the world. The other thing is just that
we've
Emerson
had Showdown matches before, so
very rarely, yeah.
Emerson has been really busy lately as well. Like, he mentioned last week that he's had classes this week, and he's off on vacation now, and so the discussion between him and Clutch was such that it seemed like he was just looking for a time to kind of get things over with, and he didn't have a whole ton of time to prep. So
yep.
And I think it showed a little bit in the battle, yeah.
It kind of did, but not to the extent that you would maybe see. He definitely did a fair amount of prep. And whether or not it was enough is kind of academic because of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Is Absorb Bulb released in Gen 7 yet?
Good question. I don't know.
Was what now?
Because that would have been amazing.
Let's see. Is it
the Absorb Bulb tech if Emerson had thrown it on his Crocodile? Because then he could have absorbed an Aqua Jet and proceeded to destroy
KO.
Nazi. But
Does
I don't
the
know if it is it released.
I don't
I'm
know.
curious.
I'm looking
Yeah,
now.
it is.
Oh
You
yeah,
can
it
get
is.
it in 20 coins.
Does it?
So yeah, you can legally gen it in.
Does it? Does it take away the water type move? Like, does it nullify it?
Okay,
Raises quarter special attack by 1 stage if hit by a water. Oh, that doesn't actually absorb it though. Never mind.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it would be a much better ability or a much better item if it did that. Like I would 100% use that if it nullified a grass or a water type attack and gave you the boost. That would be nuts.
Well, you know what you could run it on though? You could run it on something like
Starmie.
you could run it well, yeah, you could run it on Jellicent.
That's true.
You could run it on Gastrodon.
Oh wait. Here's the problem: it is not consumed if the holder is unaffected by the water type
Oh,
abilities, such as Storm Drain.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. This is less good then.
You just need something that resists water.
Yeah.
Celebi, Starmie, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so any more things to say about that Omega versus Clutch game? So Clutch is on to the semifinals now.
Yep.
I think I'm excited to talk about Neek versus Andrew. I think that honestly, I think that was the best game
definitely. That was the standout battle.
That was very well played.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah. Go on.
The key thing in my mind was Megalodios going down turn 8.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If that had been around all match, I think Neek would have won.
Well,
yeah.
It was this thing where they both clearly teched their dragons for each other's dragons, but they both teched for like the wrong sets for each dragon, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, Neek teched for the right set because Neek managed to tank the hit and then counter with the Dragon Claw.
Yeah, because Neek was behind the sub.
Right.
Which was a good brain.
Yep. And the physical Latios was a good brain too.
Yep.
Yeah, just because Gudra is so thick.
Well, yeah, you don't want to attack Gudra with special attacks. You have to hit it physically.
But then the gooey tech was nice too.
Yeah, no, and I think that's the thing. It's this weird thing where their dragons were both like perfectly prepped for each other. Like if one dragon went down, it didn't matter that the other one was going to be arcade, probably.
Yeah. It was interesting though, because I was wondering. I think we talked about Gudra a little bit as like a good pick, but like later in the week, Clutch and I were definitely talking about like, man, Gudra is going to be big for this match. Like it's a big deal. It's got coverage. It's got
and then it
gets a whole lot of stuff going on.
OHKO'd by Dragon Claw.
But like, it was one of those things where he was able to put Megalodios in a situation where it
was easily arcade. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I imagine Neek probably didn't switch there because he was fearing the pursuit. Like that Sneasel move was really, really solid.
Yep, Sneasel is a good mon to counter. Like, I mean, Weavile and Sneasel are good to counter.
And Mega Absol.
Oh yeah, and it's so funny to me because I was actually in Andrew's stream at one point and we were talking about his match. It's like I haven't really thought about it yet, but I'm thinking about like, man, Megalodios is scary, and I was like, hey, dude, run Choice Band Sneasel, and he did. That was exactly what he ran, and it scared me as well. I'm not sure about you guys, but like, you get a sense for like if you're watching the HP tick down, like it goes at a certain speed when that thing got OHKO'd multiple times over, and it goes at a certain speed when you're like, and watching Megalodios' HP tick down bit by bit, I was like, is this thing gonna die? Like, is it gonna get KO'd by this? Because if it had survived the Icicle Crash, that would have just been nuts.
Well, that's the thing. That was the play that it hinged upon. I think if the Icicle Crash had gotten a low, like the bottom end damage roll,
you could probably check that. I mean, on one hand, it's like it was a banded Sneasel with a super effective attack, Yeah,
like, and it's Icicle Crash, which is what, base 130 power.
No, Choice Banded Sneasel has a minimum 112% damage on no investment Megalodios.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if that thing had some investment though, just because
he would have needed insane investment to lift that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it. Yeah, I don't think it had. Well, I mean, I don't think it had like that kind of investment anyway. Mega Latios.
No, and he already popped a sub, so I don't think
Yeah.
there was any way he was
Yeah,
letting
there
it.
was
Oh
no
yeah,
ch-
that's right. He had already
no
popped a
chance.
sub. Yeah, and yeah, well, when I saw him hit with the ISO crash, I was like, he's donezo's. Like I was like, this is where this Mega Latios dies.
Mhm.
I was still shocked he left it in, but he didn't really have anything to hard wall Sneasel.
No,
Yeah.
Especially if he was fearing that dark hit, because if he clicked
Right.
knockoff, Mimikyu and Piloswine weren't taking that.
no,
Oof, no.
Especially because Piloswine was big as a wall, so he couldn't lose that EVO.
yeah. Well, it's one of those situations where it put him between a rock and a hard place, so to speak. Like, because if he switches out, there's a chance he's going to get pursuit trapped, or whatever he switches in is going to get hit with a knockoff.
I was surprised Cobalion didn't come, because that thing just hard walls the crap out of Sneasel, which was like the main check to a Mega Latios.
Yeah, I don't know like the exact decision making, but
Yeah,
whatever the reasoning, Megalati goes down earlier than anyone expected. And that kind of set the stage for like the entire rest of the match, because once that happened, Neek was put on the back foot.
Yep. And credit to Andrew as well for playing really well around Piloswine, which typically presents a pretty substantial problem for most teams.
He handled that Piloswine very well. Definitely.
And also, I'm super happy. One other thing that deserves to get brought up. I talked to Andrew after the game, and we were talking last week about Salazzle being a good bring, and I was like, oh, it gets Nasty Plot and Dragon Pulse. Like, that could be pretty cool. It naturally outspeeds Latios, all that stuff. He actually brought that set too. He brought it with Focus Sash, which was big.
Ooh, that's
it's
nice. I like that.
For a team that doesn't have like a whole ton of priority. I mean, I guess Ice Shard on
Sneasel, but
or sorry, I was thinking like Ice Shard on Piloswine.
Oh right, Piloswine. Yeah, I was
But,
thinking
like-
of yeah.
Mhm.
You're right.
But yeah, it could be. It just could be. It could be mean. It was an interesting bring, and he did some little things like, I mean, even just like going for the Fire Blast at that one occasion to, I forget what he took out with it, but Andrew is actually kind of good at bringing in things like Salazzle and like maybe like getting it in at a point where he can bluff the Scarf or bluff another item or like make it look like it's an offensive set that maybe doesn't have setup in the back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the power of running something like Focus Sash, is that if you can force a switch, you can make your opponent think just based on the damage that you're scarfed.
Mm-hmm.
And then like set yourself up later to fire off a Nasty Plot or a Calm Mind or something.
Well, bluffing the Scarf is always like not always, but is definitely an option that can be considered frequently.
Oh, sure.
And it's something that I think a lot of people don't do enough. I think there were opportunities, certain matches, where if I would have bluffed the Scarf on Latios, I could have done some pretty decent shenanigans with that.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with Soul Dew, because it only buffs Psychic and Dragon type moves. So if I was only hitting with like Surf or like Ice Beam or things like that.
Yeah. Adam got me with a really nasty Scarf bluff in Alola International when we played. He switched it.
You're stupid, Toxic Rogue.
Okay, we don't have to talk about that part. We can talk about the part where I went for a devastating Drake as you switched in a fairy type.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I forgot about that.
That was humiliating.
Witness my
Gardevoir.
final move! Does stone nothing.
Yeah.
Gardevoir, did that come in on like a Haxorus or something?
It came in on Garchomp because I got a Swords Dance up with my Garchomp, and me, once again, forgetting that Fairy type exists and was added to a bunch of Pokemon. I was looking at your roster, I was like, he doesn't have a Fairy type. I'm clicking Devastating Drake. I'm going to KO something.
I did something similar in Battle Spot singles.
Oh, R.I.P.
Someone hit me with the Grass type Z move, and I had Sap Sipper on Goodra. Assault Vested Gudra
Ooh.
and just switched in, and Gudra was on low health. So I'm just like, thanks, bud. Flamethrower.
Those little immunities can pay off so
Oh
big.
yeah. Switching steel types in on poison type Z moves is also just pleasant.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like you don't see it as often because I'll tell you right now, battle spot singles. I was testing cores today on battle spot singles. I'm not doing that anymore because every single team I faced had a Mimikyu with Let's Snuggle Forever, and that was just what they were running as their win con. They get you down to one Pokemon, Let's Snuggle Forever, and then they kill you.
See, I want to talk about how screwed up that move's animation is, because this tiny little cute Mimikyu envelops the Pokemon, and your trainer just gives that little smile and thumbs up.
Yeah, it's the only time your trainer's expression changes.
As the Mimikyu is like molesting this other Pokemon underneath there, like beating it to death, and then throws it out into the forest to be eaten by the other monsters. Your trainer is just there, like it really contributes to the soulless vibe.
Well,
geez.
I've
always
said that the scariest trainer in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is you, because your face does not change for anything in the game. Facing the closest thing that Pokemon has to Eldritch Abominations, no big deal. Fighting evil gangsters, no big deal. Facing corrupt like corporate organizations, nada. But when the only time your expression changes is when your Mimikyu is about to beat the living shit out of something. Only time your trainer's expression changes. I'm like, something is about to die and your trainer is irredeemably happy about that. Ugh. Unsettling. Okay, so that match was definitely the standout match for playoffs round 1. I'm excited for round 2. This is gonna be good. The semifinals.
There are gonna be some good matches.
I'll tell you what. I think this is something I've remarked upon before, but I think one of the things I really appreciate, especially after like joining the PCL, like and just like seeing like kind of tangentially observing other leagues. We have a very skilled league overall. I think even the worst of us is a pretty solid battler. Me being the worst of us.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Because okay. Thanks, Sam.
Hey, that was Adam.
No,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So like we have a solid set of battlers. I mean, we have some new coaches entering in season 3. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to have a season 3 rundown when playoffs and championships wrap up.
We can do that before or after we draft.
Well, we're going to have a rundown of all the rule changes and stuff like that before the draft. Ideally, it'll depend on how hot on the heels we have. Like, it's going to depend on when the coaches meeting is scheduled after the finals. It's going to depend on when the draft is scheduled after the coaches meeting. Yeah. How I decide to cover that.
Fair enough. So let's do we want to get into the semifinals matches?
Yeah.
Want to talk about first?
Yeah. Let's talk about Sun Conference first, since we're kind of going Sun then Moon. Just unless you want to do the inverse of that.
No, let's talk about it. I'm not once again. I'm in a position where I think I'm just going to let you guys talk and kind of
So it's
in the background.
Yeah, it's Sam versus Santoro. This is going to be an interesting match. As I mentioned before, Santoro is really good at picking up on small habits that coaches tend to do. And on top of that, I've talked about how Clutch. We've all talked about on this podcast how Clutch is, the tech master. Santoro is in the similar vein, but where Clutch generally techs more, his tech leans more towards EV teching. Santoro likes to tech move pools as well as his EVs.
and the mons he brings.
Yes.
Because sometimes you'll look at him preview and go, I wonder why you brought this, and then he brings it in, and you're like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
It just blew me back.
Exactly. That's he texts his brings and the move pools for those brings. Because even then, you'll see like Amon, you'll be like, oh, he's running this set because this set's pretty good against me. No, he's running another set that's also good against you. It's also not the set you planned to deal with. Sorry, buddy.
Which is really annoying when you have to face him twice in back-to-back seasons. So
Yeah.
I've faced this dude 5 times.
Ugh.
Yeah,
5 times
and
counting
not in the
postseason for
playoffs.
season 1. Yeah.
I think I'm in his division next season.
That's right, Adam. You're the reason we have the Flame Orb facade meme.
Oh, let's not.
Oh no.
Oh my, that still hurts.
Oh, I
That
bet it
hurts.
does, because it hurt looking at it. I was like, oh no.
Flame Orb facade.
The best
Dragon
part is
Dance. I still remember the move set and like
the best part is this was the battle. That battle was the battle I was showing to show one of my roommates what Pokemon Draft League was about, and he's watching that and he's like, wow, this guy's getting rolled. I'm like, yep.
And guess what? I'm in his conference next season, so I'll definitely play him.
I'm in your conference
I
too.
swear if he drafts Salamence.
I think I'm in you guys' conference. Like, I gotta.
I think you guys might even be in a division together.
We are in a division together. I think we are in the same division.
Wait, what? No, I'm with Andrew, Hyven, Neat.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
never mind. You're on the other side. I just
right.
remember.
Yeah, you're with Ballistic, Koala,
Right.
and Meta.
That's right. That's right.
Oh,
So you get to face some hyper offense. So much hyper offense.
That's okay. I run stall. It's the balancing factor.
okay.
And you have Storm in your conference? Dude, your entire conference is going to be...
aggro. Aggro AF.
And our conference is Neek, Sam,
Oh,
Santoro,
no.
me, Andrew, so it's all balance.
Oh, man. All
This
balance
will be-
all the time.
Next season will be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So
Digressions aside, it's gonna be tough to call this one. I think I might actually give the edge to Santoro. He's definitely bounced back after his unlucky streak late in the season, and he seems to be in top form with his team building. So I'm gonna give the edge to Santoro here.
I'm sorry to say this, but like looking at team matchups, because I'm on the team finder tab right now, like
Yeah,
Santoro's team just matches up real well.
yeah.
And he's good enough where he'll figure out like your 1 or 2 walls to him on and switch around it.
It's gonna be an uphill
Mhm.
battle, but it's certainly winnable. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Oh no, it's definitely winnable. I'm looking at, yeah, like I could see Deancey and Bulu being big, and I could see Mons like probably Zygarde and either like MagneZONE or Mega Arrow being big.
Yeah.
Zygarde is a problem for this team, for the record, because of the way that my speed tiers
Oh yeah.
fall out.
Mm-hmm.
Because it naturally outspeeds both Mega Diancie and Lycanroc, which are kind of the top edge of my team outside of like Zeb.
So
Which Zebstrika against a team that has so many answers to it.
Yeah.
this is something because Sam showed me the speed tier matchups, and honestly, if you just ignore types and mons in general and just look at the speed tiers, it's this weird thing where if we were going by purely speed tiers and everything was able to OHKO everything, it would be the match would basically be whoever got like the first chance to get the OHKO, because then after that it's literally just chained revenge kills. Like, it's ridiculous the way that the speed tiers match up here. It's odd, to say the least.
Yeah, because like he's over your top end, but then you have things like Haxorus just edging out Darmanitan, and like it's weird.
It's a profoundly strange looking set of speed tiers, especially for someone like me who runs bulk. So my speed
You're
tiers.
usually looking at like 20s to 30s.
Yeah, my speed tiers are usually all of my mons below all of their mons,
Except Gladius.
except Latios. Well, that was a pickup. That was not my original part of my original design. Although
True.
I've learned some things. Trust me. Sam has seen my draft list for next season, my ideal draft list, and it's pretty devastating if I can get it. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting battle. And as I said, I think that Santoro definitely has the slight edge here.
I think I would tend to agree.
I'm
I feel
glad
pretty
you're
good in the
humble
sense
enough
that
to do so.
I'm always gonna go in and feel like I can make something out
Right.
of what I've got.
Oh yeah, well you wouldn't be able to function in a draft league if you couldn't. do that.
Yeah, and we'll see how this goes. I'm definitely gonna prep for this in some maybe a little bit unorthodox ways. I have a couple ideas for sets that I'm bringing that have a lot of kind of utility against his team.
Yeah.
I think
There's a couple sets that I could see that would actually be very good against stopping him.
yeah. Well, let's talk after the podcast.
Yeah, because I need to hit you up for a Olo International anyways. So yeah.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, let's talk.
Okay.
Not when other people are listening.
Yeah. So now that we've gotten our little networking aside, moving on to the Moon Conference semifinals, we have
Andrew and
Rochester.
Clutch.
Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be a good match.
Clutch was like, I don't want to say he was like cursing to himself, but he was definitely like, I prepared for Emerson 3 times. Now I have to prepare for Rochester 3 times.
Yeah.
It's like his third prep for 2 different teams.
Mm-hmm.
Big Mon, Breloom. I see Breloom just wreaking havoc.
Mm-hmm. Breloom is pretty good here.
If like say like Reuni is gone,
Yeah.
or like Nito's gone,
Yep.
yikes.
Well, because it does, it deals with Terrakion, deals with Empoleon, it deals
Well,
with
even then, Bullet Seed's probably messing up Reuni.
yeah,
Possible, yeah. Or I mean, you save the Spore for Reuni or something.
right.
Spore, Swords Dance, GG.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I don't know what Clutch is gonna bring because I never know what Clutch is gonna bring. Like, I don't even bother trying to figure it out anymore.
Never. He'll just bring 6 that you'll see like half of them coming, and then you'll just get set up on and swept.
And
by
even
a
if you
set that
see
didn't
all 6 of them
expect.
coming, you'll think that he's running like specific sets that he's not. No, he's not running those sets. He's running these like carefully handcrafted and like finely tooled EVs.
I have a Mega Metacam. His only way to stop it is Reuniclus. But no, he brings a setup offensive one.
Yeah.
Okay. That has mono stabbings and a
So
muck.
honestly, because he's got a like interesting set of matchups on the top end here. Because I mean, like if we look at the top tier stuff, we're looking at like Mew, Klefki, Mega, Manectric, Gudra, Breloom. And then, Clutch has got Terrakion, Reuni, Mega Pidgeot, Kyurem. Like they both have an interesting interaction on their top end is what I'm trying to get at
Because
here.
they kind of balance each other out. They could go one shot for one
That's
shot.
why I think this battle might be hinging on how well they use their bottom end.
Whoever gains momentum first and keeps it is probably going to win this.
Yes.
And I can honestly see Rochester doing that.
Well, their team is built.
you.
Yeah, their team is built around a Volt Turn core. Like
Can
a couple
Mew get
different
U-turn?
Volt Turn. Yeah, Mew gets U-turn. I'm pretty sure.
So yeah,
As
could
does
see
Mean
him
Xiao.
As does Mean Xiao gets it.
I could see him just generally annoying Clutch to the point where if Clutch slips up like once and he takes out something big, he can just start rolling.
Now,
but then I don't see Clutch
yeah,
slipping up.
that's the thing. It's this weird thing where I anticipate this battle going for probably around 30 to 40 turns, and I think the first 20 of those are going to be this one big giant game of who blinks first. And as soon as that, as soon as someone blinks, that the other person is going to take advantage and just start hammering them. It's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be this like weird, like kind of like slow jockeying of position, lots of switches, lots of like U-turns and volt switches, and just double switching and triple switching. And then it's going to be someone's going to see their shot and they're going to take it, and they're either going to like nail it, or they're going to completely miss, and the other person's going to get that momentum and then just flip it and run with it. And it's going to turn into a slugfest for about 10 turns where it's just back and forth kills.
That's possible. That would be interesting. That'd be a good battle.
That's how I see. Yeah. That's definitely one of the more likely scenarios of how this is going to play out, just due to their top ends balancing each other out so well. Silvally is going to be an interesting wild card in this if he decides to bring it, because it can be a lot of different. It can be all the types.
Well, it's clutch, so I have no idea what type you would bring.
Right, exactly. That's what it's definitely a wild card here. And then like Keck is an interesting wild card here too, though. Like, on the flip side of that.
Bring Keck, but don't bring Protean.
Right. That's the real trick.
Color change Keck.
No, Flame Orb Facade Keck. We've talked about this.
Yes.
If he wins with Flame Orb Facade Keck, like, hero for the rest of my days. I'm
never talking to him again until we have to schedule for our 2 matches next season.
Oh no.
Oh man. Okay. So yeah, we've got 2 really good battles lined up here. Regardless of how they play out, it's going to be interesting. I think the Clutch versus Andrew battle is difficult to call. Very difficult to call. Mainly because they're very balanced rosters.
Yep.
And like you said, it's like Adam said. If whoever gets momentum first is going to probably take it.
I think Andrew's Volt turn will help, but if Clutch finds a way to set up with Tarak or with Azu, or even with a belly drum Magmortar, because that's possible.
Yep.
And just flame charge.
This would be a weird set and probably bad because I'm the one thinking of it. But Silvally Ground to absorb the Volt switch.
Oh, that would actually be interesting. That'd be a nice effect on Mega Manectric.
Yeah.
Well, especially because, I guess his Clutch's ground type is his Nido Queen. So.
Right. So, but if he's bringing Silvally and Silvally Ground, might not see it coming. Goes for
He does love his parting shots.
Yeah. Yeah, parting shot is, I think, one of the better things about Silvally, but,
What Silvally type did he bring last time? It wasn't Dragon, was it?
No.
I may have it. Let me look.
I know that I had it somewhere, but I'd have to scroll way back or search appropriately. I don't know how.
I could just click on click on the Showdown link.
Oh, hey, that's true.
Because it's in Showdown.
Wait, it was?
Yeah.
Isn't that...
Omega. He brought it against Omega. Didn't he?
Well, yeah, he brought Silvally Dragon against Omega, yeah. Or we could also just go to week 12.
Yeah, he brought Silvally Dragon.
Yeah, that was actually the last minute switch, because I remember he and I were talking and prepping together, and he switched that thing out.
I do want to real quick take the opportunity, since we're in the postseason and we're getting close to wrapping it up. I do want to go over some small things about season 3 real quick, and I'll probably go over this again, but we do have some changes on the overall coaching roster. So we have some name changes too, but first off, we have some new coaches. Koala Dominator is new.
Dominator's apparently been helping Omega prep all season too, so that scares me.
Yeah.
He's had good teams all season.
Yeah, Dominator is the man behind the man.
He's the man behind Marv.
He's the elusive man. The elusive man of the RDL. Okay, and we got Shepherd.
Rich, who I've been in a league with before.
Yep. And then Hive.
Yeah.
And so also there's been some team name changes. I mean, Koala's coach. Well, we'll go over what the new coaches are coaching. We got the LA Solgalios. Dominators coaching the San Antonio Septiles.
Best Gen 3 starter.
Yep. It really. Well, I don't know. I mean, Blaziken's pretty sweet.
No. No debates.
I mean, I had Mega Septile in season 1. I really liked it.
Mega Septile was great.
Rich
It's a
is
great design.
Rich is the Pittsburgh Steelix.
Is it with an H?
No. Yes, 1H.
1H. I'm so confused because on the document it's with an H and in the logo it's not.
Oh, that is
So-
weird.
Yeah.
There is a Pittsburgh with no H in California.
Maybe he lives in Pittsburgh, California.
Yep.
This is
I'm
all a
not
double
sure.
blind.
But it's like Pittsburgh Steelix is clearly a Pittsburgh Steelers reference.
Yeah.
So,
But
I
maybe
don't
he
know.
spelt it like his hometown name. I don't know. It's
and also worth noting is Rich is co-coaching with LC.
Oh,
who
right,
I think
yeah.
Also been in a
Yeah.
league with him.
yeah. Didn't yeah.
Is his name now Jesus in the
I-
coaching list? I'm pretty sure
I
it
don't
is.
know.
Yeah,
And
LC
then
changed his nickname
Hi-
to Jesus.
Hive is the San Jose Sharpedos.
like
And we got Rochester, the Rochester Rock and Rollers, Akron Alakazams, Galesburg Gliscores. They're all returning with their respective coaches, Andrew, Adamant, and Neek.
That is one lit division. I
Yeah,
just say that now.
yeah. That Whitehawk is returning, and I'm glad to see Whitehawk because they're gonna get a chance to actually draft their team, and I can't wait to see what they do with that. The Philadelphia
Hey.
Braviaries.
They were 5-5 with a salvage roster.
Yeah,
That's
And-
not bad.
Late
Yeah.
season, he went on a tear too. Like
Yeah.
he
Undefeated.
3-0.
Yeah.
Additionals.
yeah. He's definitely a coach to watch for this next season. Sam changed his team name. He's now the Seattle Supersonics.
A
Santoro
incoming.
is back once again with the Brooklyn Bulbasaurs. Can he make playoffs for a third season in a row? Probably.
Might as well just put it in there now.
Storm is back with the Chicago Taurus. Mike is back, surprisingly. Thought he was going to retire after the season, but he's back. The Ohio Ninetales.
Kind of glad to see he's back though.
I am. Yeah, I'm certainly glad to see him back. I mean, he was never going to stop running the league, but I'm glad to see him still in the league as a participant. And then Omega with the EC Gastrodons. They're in a division with Dominator. Then myself, I've changed my name. I'm no longer the Detroit Dracos because I lost the battle for Detroit. And naturally, that team is not returning.
Yeah.
So I changed my name for no reason. I am now Liverpool Battling Club.
Yeah, kind of sad to see Excessive go because
Yeah, he was
he's a good player.
good.
Yeah.
He's actually a quality dude too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's the nicest guy. I mean,
Oh,
he was incredible after after we played. He congratulated me and we talked for a bit and everything. He did mention, and hopefully I'm not spoiling anything, but he expressed some interest in coming back in another season or something.
Well, that's
I think
good.
He's just taking a break. I think now for I mean, people get busy with
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know.
No, definitely.
So he'll maybe he'll be back. I hope so. He was it's always sad to see quality people leave the league because they're not everybody in this
Yeah.
sphere or community is as nice or as humble or as easy to get along with as Excessive was.
So we
And
also have and also in returning coaches, we have Ballistic is back with the Oregon Golducks, and I'm frightened because that's my division.
Yep. Have fun.
Yeah, and then
Let's
Meta
see, out
with the LA Chargerbugs is back,
and Koala with
Yep.
the other LA team.
Yep. So there's gonna be a battle for LA this season. That'll be interesting to see.
There will be 2 battles for LA.
Oh yeah,
At least.
2 battles for LA. Ooh, this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be
I'm interested.
something that we're gonna talk up.
Why did I
I'm
get
interested
the
to see what-
schedule of death
go ahead.
again? Go look at the
Oh
schedule.
no. Let me see this. Hold on.
I mean,
So obviously divisional matches. Then I've got Whitehawk, who went on a tear. Then I'm back to Santoro. Can't get away from this man. Then I've got Emerson. Great. Then I've got our host here, Cossack.
Mm-hmm.
The new Pittsburgh team. Don't know much about them. But then we also got... Who's SEA?
That's Seattle. That's me.
Yeah.
Seattle. Yeah. So I have Sam. Great. And then I have my 3 divisional matches again.
I mean, I face Sam. I face Sam before you do.
I'm so glad that I get to battle Cossack. I mean, I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was looking at my schedule and just thinking, like, oh, this looks like it's going to be brutal. Like, we have.
Oh, and then you saw me in your first 7 weeks, and you're like, oh, this will be not as bad. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, the revenge tour is still coming.
Oh, that's the plan, man. I've had 2 really bad seasons. So I'm thinking, third time's the charm. This is where I take everything I've learned from the first 2 seasons and move forward.
Yeah, you're playing against good competition here.
Yep.
I feel like I'm all right at this game.
I don't know if anything's worse than my schedule for this season, though, because that was actually.
Well, I can tell you that my season 3 schedule is much more forgiving than my season 2 schedule was. I had to face all of the playoff teams at least once in the first 7 weeks from season 1.
Let's see. I faced Oregon, Brooklyn, and Detroit Dracos twice. So there's 6 playoff teams, technically. Oh, and Emerson. There's the 4.
I faced
Sam, there's the 5th. Neek, there's the 6th. Kansas City, there's the 7th. Rochester, there's the 8th. I played all 8 of them.
So here's the deal, though. I faced Indianapolis, New York, Ohio. So Brooklyn, Galesburg, EC, you. Like, I had my first 7 weeks were hell.
I just remember, that was the Pac and I after we played our match in week 3, we were talking both, and he was like, I feel bad for Cossack. He's got 7 weeks of hell.
Your start was actually worse than mine.
Yeah, my starting schedule was the worst.
Yeah,
I faced all playoff teams from both seasons.
Oh, yeah. And what was it going to say? For what it's worth, Adam, as well, like, you were the one playoff matchup that I didn't want. Like, I'm okay playing Santoro. I'm okay playing Excessive. I'm okay playing Ballistic. Like, I would have loved to play Ballistic again. But
you didn't want to face me?
Oh, dude, I have nothing for a Alolan. Nothing.
Or Mega Metacam, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that those 2 mons in tandem were just I don't know. That game was just like, I needed to play perfectly, and even then it was going to be messy because Mega Metacam and Alolan were just horrible matchups for me.
Well, speaking of fighting types, this is the best segue I could think of.
Nice.
Our Mon of the Week. So we went from starter to starter. We did for Alligators our last Mon of the Week, and this week we're doing Infernape. Infernape, tier 1 in our league and in most leagues, because it's an excellent mixed attacker. And
you never know what it will do.
Exactly. It's difficult to plan for.
Yeah, for sure. It's got priority options on both sides. It's got setup options on both. It has setup options on the physical side, right?
I think so. Let me pull up Smogone. I think our one-stop shop for everything strategy related.
I think that everybody kind of looks at Infernape. Like, I know that I looked at Infernape with a certain degree of
skepticism
as a tier 1 at first, because it's like, it's you. Like, I just looked at it and I was like, oh, these people are hyping up this Mon that they they really like. It's probably not actually that good.
But then you start to look.
Well, and then you start to look, and also I had to prep for it in the first game of my season, which of course this was my first season. And all of a sudden it's just like, wow, this thing creates so many problems for me. Like, I don't know what it's coming with. If it comes with Choice Scarf, there's only so much I can do. Like, it's a fantastic Mon. Holy cow.
It can be a U-turn. It can be part of a Volt Turn core. It can be a setup sweeper. I'm checking to see if it's got like Swords Dance or anything of that nature.
Swords
sure it has, like,
Dance,
full
Nasty
cover.
Plot,
It does,
Calm
yeah.
Mind.
So this
Why is this thing a decent wall with reliable recovery and slack off?
yeah, it's weird. Infernape is just supremely odd. It's difficult to plan for. And yet you look at the stats. You look at the out of the box stats and you're thinking to yourself, base 104 attack, meh. Base 104 special attack, meh. Its bulk is leaving a lot to be desired. Its speed tier is 108, which is good but not great. But then you look at its move pool. Its goddamn move pool.
It's beautiful.
It's so deep.
Mach Punch and Vacuum Wave.
Mach Punch, Vacuum Wave, Fire Blast, Nasty Plot, Calm Mind, Swords Dance, Stop Me When You Think I've Said Too Much, Focus Blast, Grass Knot. Like,
that's just the special side. You can hit the physical side now too.
Yeah,
you got Close Combat,
Stone
you got
Edge,
Flare Blitz,
Mach
Stone
Punch.
Edge.
You
Gunk
Gunk Shot. Because fairy
Yeah.
types usually stop fighting types, but not this one.
I was going to say, it doesn't get Earthquake, though, but it does.
Yeah, it does. Shadow Claw, those bulky psychics mean nothing. Thunder Punch, bulky waters mean nothing.
Well,
Yeah,
and it gets
it's-
Iron Fist, so you could theoretically run like a Swords Dance Elemental Punch set with, like Thunder Punch, Mach Punch.
And Fire Punch.
Yep.
There you go.
Does Poison Jab get the?
I don't
Maybe.
think he does
No.
because that's why.
But he does learn Poison Jab. I mean,
Gunk.
Gunk Shot's probably a better choice, but does learn Poison Jab.
Yeah, but then it's only 80%
Yeah.
accurate.
That's true. So you get options. So many options.
Mm-hmm.
Options for days. You also have Dual Chop, which is interesting because it hits twice at 40 power each time.
Yeah.
It's Rock Tomb for speed control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really, if you start getting hit by those Rock Tombs, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble against this thing because
It gets Natural Gift. So when you catch somebody off guard thinking they can wall you and you hit their quad,
Yep.
Wait, Natural Gift?
yeah, it's when you chuck your berry.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
Also, it also gets Workup, which you can use in a mixed attacking set.
Oh, then you can run Mach Punch and Vacuum Wave.
Yup. So it gets Will-O-Wisp too. So if you're looking on the bulkier side,
Yeah, someone switches in something that they think can take a hit.
it gets
Fast
Taunt.
Fast Taunt,
Yeah.
always nice.
Yup.
And
It's
yeah, I think we also have to talk about the fact that this thing's speed tier is
What?
just great,
Why
right?
does it-
I mean, 108.
why does it get
odd
stealth
speed tiers?
Why does this
Because
monster get stealth
it's a fantastic setter too.
like
88
so
can
fun.
taunt those things. Like,
it gets what we're getting at here is it gets everything. It gets everything. Everything you could possibly want. It has plus some.
Acrobatics. Yo, wait, Natural Gift Acrobatics.
Oh god.
oh
I'm drafting
wow.
Infernape.
Please stop. I have I need to be able to prep for this thing. You can't.
I'm drafting Infernape. Have fun.
Oh man. You gotta hope that honestly the real thing is you gotta hope you catch this thing on its switch in with like something that can KO it.
But then it's a great revenge killer. You don't
Right.
even need to
Yeah.
switch it in.
Yeah, no.
And when you bring it in for a revenge kill, you just U-turn right on out as they switch out. And
Oh yeah, it's brutal. Like it can lead, it can clean, it can set
Mhm.
up,
Yeah.
it can sub Swords Dance.
run a Focus Sash Blaze set with Blast Burn. Nothing lives.
Nothing survives that.
If you just want to have a nuke in your pocket.
That's like using a Z move without using a Z move.
Basically.
Because
Yeah.
it's Blaze
You can-
boosted.
Yeah, throw a Nasty Plot on there, bring it in on something that thinks it can KO, set up the Nasty Plot as you activate your Focus Sash, then Blast Burn. Why not?
Oh, also, when you got that acrobatic set, you can run a Power Herb Solar Beam.
Ugh.
You thought Seismitoad was a check? No.
Well, I mean, he
Yeah.
learns Grass
Oh.
Knot too.
Yeah, but Solar Beam's so much more fun to click.
Yeah, it's
Especially
true.
with power.
Well, yeah.
And then you
Goodness.
just proceed to acrobatics the chestnut that comes in afterwards.
Oh, that would be fun.
Oh, that's a sequence of play I don't want to be on the receiving end of. Yeah, like this. I mean, it's a nightmare. Like the stats. Don't even worry about the stats.
Well, I mean,
This
yeah,
is-
No, because you just use items to boost yourself up. Or
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
like Z Memento into it, and then you just set up and
You
win.
could run a sub Swords Dance, or not Swords Dance, but you could run a sub Assault Vest set for this thing.
Sub Assault Vest.
What?
Pause.
Oh wait, no, yeah, you can't do that. Never mind. For some reason, I keep thinking Assault Vest works differently than it does. It doesn't.
If you can
Forget-
use Substitute with Assault Vest, I would be all over that. Oh,
Yeah, that'd be
jeez.
overpowered actually. No. But you know
This
what you
thing
could
is just like a T1 Lucario, but better.
also
Yeah.
do is you could sub Flame Charge.
Yeah. I like that.
It
That
gets
sounds
Flame
fun.
Charge?
Yeah.
Why?
Most fire types do. It's
You could
crazy.
go Assault Vest Flame Charge.
Wait, it gets Endeavor. You
Yeah.
can do the same thing Santoro just did. Focus Sash, Endeavor, Mach Punch.
Ooh.
Repeat.
Oh no.
Yep. If they outspeed you, it's over. Oof, I like that.
That's disgusting. This is
How do you check a Mega Laddie with an Infernape? Well,
well. Let me
I-
tell you.
I found the answer.
That's the
Psychic you,
thing.
it's fine.
Now, because of this, it does run into 4 move slot syndrome.
It runs into
Hard.
8 move slot syndrome.
Like, yeah. Like, no, seriously, you could give this thing 8 move slots, still wouldn't be enough.
Can I just bring 2 Infernapes?
Well, we do
That-
have that clause that you can't bring 2 Pokemon with the
I'll-
same Dex ID.
I'll draft it number 1 and bring 6. Ban me.
Guys, what's wrong with you?
The sad part is a 6 Infernape team could actually do really well.
Because they could be all different.
Right.
Yeah.
They could cover everything.
Oh my
And
gosh!
it
I
wasn't
just
even
realized this.
drafted this season.
Oh no!
It's
Mike took it,
undrafted.
but he dropped it.
It's undrafted with Hoopa Unbound.
Yeah. Well, like
And Keller.
it is just sitting there. I don't know why Mike dropped it. It was. I mean, maybe it was underperforming for him a little bit.
I think he used
his
it against
team
me.
was his team kind of functioned a little strange.
Mhm. It was a problem for me in my first game of prep. Like I said, it was the thing that I looked at and was just like, oh, this base speed. Like if he runs this scarf, I'm just ended. Also, it gets encore.
Yeah.
Somebody belly
The
drums
hell?
on you, lock them into it.
Why not?
Oh man, this thing is
Focus
just
Dash Encore. Infernape stops Azumarill.
yeah.
As long as it doesn't. I mean, if it tries to belly drum on you, yeah.
Heck,
But
like
if it's
Encore
Aqua Jet, you're
Encore sub anything that uses sub.
Or just like anything that's starting to set up and getting really annoying, like
Yeah.
a Reuniclus.
Yeah.
Oh,
Infernape
when
can
would
do
that be
that.
relevant, though?
Gee, I don't know.
And then I will Flare Blitz that thing into the next dimension.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
So, anything else to say about this mon other than it gets literally everything you could ever want?
And more. Yeah. It gets
Oh, shoot.
protect.
Dude, it gets attract.
It gets quick guard.
Through an entire 12-week season, you still could not use all of the good moves this thing has.
Yeah.
Yeah, using a different set every week, even.
It gets roar too.
Focus Sash
You can-
counter.
It has rocks and roar. You can phase with this thing. You can phase rocks.
Maybe not super well, but
Not
like,
super well, but you can do it.
Mhm.
It gets faint too. You can out prioritize that Mega Pinsir.
I feel like you could make an interesting tech set with like workup as well.
Yeah, well, that's yeah. And then you got slack off, like you mentioned
It gets
earlier.
Iron Tail, too. Or just laser focus. You crit next turn, guaranteed.
This thing is disgusting.
I like it.
Punishment, in case anything does click belly drum, it's plus 20 for each stat boost. So there's what, plus 120 to 60 power base?
Yeah.
I feel like punishment exists just because of those like crazy stored power Sigilifts.
It gets
Like,
Hone Claws too.
Yep, you can run a Z Sunny Day set too. Power
Yeah.
up your fire type moves and plus 1 speed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Combine that with Flame Charge. No, I'm just kidding.
You will never be outsped.
It also gets, notably, it also gets Facade. It gets
Have
fake.
to run top.
Why do you
Have
have
to
to
run
do
top
this?
orb.
More importantly, it gets Fake Out.
That's actually kind of a low key good thing as well. Like it's physical or like fire types that frequently run physical attacks, like Infernape, get burned.
Yeah.
You could run that sub focus punch set like a
Oh, yeah.
Prelude.
I was running sub Focus Punch Polyrath in PU.
That would be so powerful. Flare Blitz, Focus Punch, Gunk Shot, Substitute. With like a life orb. What takes hits?
Okay, well, you now, I think we've given them, we've given the people at home a thorough understanding of just how busted this mon is. There's a reason it's tier 1.
So tier 2 next season? Can we start that poll?
No. No. Denied.
Sure, why not? I have the first pick, so
Yeah.
No, it would slide to 6, and I will take a tier 2 as my 6th pick overall. That's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean,
while we're at it, let's do tier 2 Necrozma.
You know what? This thing would be banned if it had sheer force.
Oh yeah, it would be. This thing would
Hell
be
yeah.
Manatan.
Dude, I mean, give this thing a life orb with no life orb recoil. Just start clicking things like
start flare blitzing, gunk shotting. Oh my!
I mean, it's bad enough that it has Iron Fist and lots of punching attacks to take advantage of it.
Thank goodness this
you
thing
have
doesn't sheer force.
Boosted Thunder Punch Stone Edge. Ew.
Ugh.
All right.
Yeah,
well, that's enough of that. Thank you, everyone who's been listening in. Like I said, we'll probably, depending on what happens, either I won't be on the podcast for the next couple weeks, and Emerson will be hosting, or someone will be hosting. Hopefully, that's what I'm gonna try and do. I can't promise anything, but that's what we're gonna be shooting for. And if all goes according to some semblance of a plan, I will see you guys. Well, I won't see you, but I'll be. We will be available for your entertainment next week, hopefully. Peace, everyone.